Okay, so let's talk about water. Now, I'm pretty sure most people know this, but under no circumstances should you be drinking tap water. But even if you do know this already, understanding what's in your tap water goes much deeper than you might realize. See, first, most city municipal water comes from treated water, which means wastewater. And that means exactly what you think it means: toilet water, sink water, and all the water that goes down your drain, which is absolutely disgusting. And we'll get back to this, but first, let's talk about what's in your water. So, the number one thing is fluoride, and most people know about this, but this is a crazy subject because, first of all, adding fluoride to water is mass medication without your consent, right? I mean, isn't it supposed to be my body, my choice? If so, then why are you adding medication into my water without my consent? Another thing, see, if you want fluoride, if you believe it is good for your teeth, well, then you can get it from your toothpaste. Now, I still don't recommend that you do that. I personally use a fluoride-free toothpaste, but at least it's your choice and you're not forcing it on anybody. And see, one of the main issues with fluoride in your water is that it calcifies your pineal gland, which is essentially your third eye. So the calcification of your pineal gland is essentially cutting you off from the spiritual realm and your intuition. And another thing about fluoride consumption is that it is associated with lower IQ. So fluoride in the water is no good. Another thing that's in your water is chlorine. And chlorine is in your water because it's used to kill all the bacteria from the wastewater. But the problem with that is chlorine is essentially a poison and it's linked to cancers and other issues. Then your tap water also contains levels of lead, arsenic, and mercury, which are usually a result of old pipes and just plain old dirty water. And then, of course, there are pesticides and microplastics in your water, which are endocrine disruptors. So I think most people know about that, but now let's get into some more of the crazy but true stuff about tap water. So the EPA has confirmed trace amounts of birth control, antidepressants, and antibiotics in our tap water. How far down does this conspiracy theory go? Well, first, why are these things in our water? Well, as I said before, it's wastewater. So people are so overly medicated that these substances, this birth control, the antidepressants and antibiotics, are coming out of their bodies when they use the bathroom, which again is disgusting. So our tap water is essentially a soup of poisons and antidepressants, which make us numb, emotionless zombies. Birth control or synthetic estrogens, which leads to lower testosterone rates, lower sperm counts, and the feminization of men. And then you got fluoride, which is cutting us off from the spiritual world. And finally, like I said, you have all the other poisons, which are just making us sick, which is fueling the rise of the healthcare industry. Okay, so that's the bad news. So what can you do about all this? Well, at the very least, you should be filtering your water. But you need more than just those cheap filters you get off Amazon. You should be using a Berkey or a reverse osmosis filter or other high-end filters that take as much stuff out as possible. But if you want, the best thing you can do is to find a natural spring. And believe it or not, they're all over the place. In fact, there's a website called findaspring.org, and you can see if there's one located near you, and hopefully that's the case. And that's what you see me doing here in this video. See, about once a month, I fill up several jugs from a local spring. And so here's why it is the best. See, first and foremost, spring water is alive. See, water is not meant to be filtered or even treated. Water should be natural. It should be alive. Another aspect of spring water is it's clean. See, the spring water I get claims to come from an underground source that essentially takes groundwater over 1,000 years to reach. So this water comes from a source before plastics, antidepressants, fluoride were even invented, a time before the earth was polluted. This also means that as the water travels 1,000 years, it not only goes through a purification process, but it also gathers minerals, making this water even more healthy. So there you have it. Remember that water is life, right? Remember that you and we are about 70% water, and you drink it every day. So what you put in your body matters. And while tap water might be convenient, you have to remember it's loaded with things that don't belong in a healthy human body. So do yourself a favor, filter your water, or better yet, find a clean, natural spring. Your body and your mind will thank you. See you on the other side.